Ready for the mosh pit, Shaka Bra.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to StrangeCast Player One vs. Life is Strange fan podcast. This is episode 111, I believe it is. Yes, 111, side B, second part of our Patreon special. This is Lost Records Journal X StrangeCast. I am with your co-host Adnan Riaz. My co-host Adam Evalt is here. Adam, you're here.
I am here. It's sunny. I'm here.
You are, yes, it is sunny there. You are here. It's all we can ask for, the bare minimum, and also for myself to be here, which is the main thing. Obviously, we recorded the first part. We're recording the second part straight after. It's just a bit easier. And again, we do the Patreon episode once a month. All the Patreon subscribers, you can put topics in there. We follow your lead on the podcast, and we make it around what you guys want to talk about. So you can sign up to the Patreon. You get that incentive. You get interviews when we get them available. We get asked for questions from people. We also give ad-free content out there, etc. And all that investment is going back into the channel, as you will hopefully see if the introduction outro is done for this video. If not, it's going to be for the future episode or the next episode. So yeah, before we start as well, if you are new here, please do consider dropping subscribe on the channel, turn notifications, like this video, share with your friends. It helps support the channel. We're almost at 2,100 subscribers. And StrangeCast and the Lost Records Journal, both available on podcast services. So we're available on Spotify with a video version, Apple Podcasts. Go and check us out there. Go and download the episodes. Go and follow us to get instant access as soon as they become available. Both available with the video versions on Spotify, and also as well 50 ratings on Spotify for the Lost Records, for StrangeCast, 39 for the Lost Records Journal. 330 plus followers on StrangeCast, 180 on Lost Records Journal, which is always amazing. So thank you so much for the support. So Adam, we're back. Side A is available, guys. You can go and check out on RSS feeds and and on YouTube as well. We are now continuing our conversation. Should we kick things off, Adam? Then our first one.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do this.
Perfect. So I'm going to pull this up here. I'm going to go to our Patreon, as you can see here, pull it up there. So Kevin Kestis is officially out now as well, because he has asked his questions, and we finished last episode. We got against Kevin Kestis.
Yeah, his name's Kevin. That's just how it is. It's just if your name's Kevin, thank God you're out of the picture.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
Adam, we'll go to Clarx then, because we can alternate between Clarx and Kevin Lackner. So we've got a new tag team here. Let's kick things off with a double exposure question, because we love talking about that. I'm going to go to this one, Adam. Of the individuals that have been laid off from the double exposure team, do you suppose the quote unquote layoffs end quote may have been infinite? Meaning, with all signs pointing towards DE2 being on the horizon of 2026, would Square Enix / Deck 9 rehire them like a temporary contractor to come in and have more abbreviated roles?
What are your thoughts on that?
If I got fired, I am not coming back to that company to do any contracting work. You can go to hell.
Like, can we
no
read
guarantee
that, like, the last sentence one more time? Because, like,
yes. So, with all signs pointing towards DE2 being on the horizon for 2026, would Square / Deck 9 rehire them like temporary contractors to come in and have more abbreviated roles?
No. Like that, I was like, am I not processing this correctly? But like, they would try, but at the same time, like, as a human being, would you be like, oh yeah, you worked on this franchise a lot and we laid you off, but would you come in as like a contractor, which is like the worst thing you can do in the gaming industry, and just help us out a little bit? Thanks, buddy. Yeah. Like, no.
So, the only argument I'd make with that, for example, is I think someone would take it if you didn't have a job. Like, you're still looking for employment, etc.
What a kick in the teeth, dude. Like, to be laid off by a company and then just be like, hey, so we're a little bit understaffed because of we laying you off. Could you come back? But just temporarily. Thank you, please. And it's like, what a kick in the teeth, dude. No, they would try it, but like, I personally for me, no. And like, speaking on like somebody who has been laid off before, and speaking especially as a former youth pastor, right, who has been laid off from churches for some
We'll come on to that. Don't go too deep into that.
What's that?
Don't go too deep into that. We'll come on to that. There is a question about that.
But like, what I will say is that, like, like some churches like did like kind of fall apart after I left. Like, oh, who would have thought? But if they're like, if they came back and be like, hey, could you come back for just like, the summertime to help us reevaluate? Thank you. Which has happened before, by the way. And I said no. It's like that's happened to me. And I said, no, absolutely not. So yeah. If Square would try, but like if I was them, dude, I don't know, man. I wouldn't take it. I don't care how desperate I am.
My only other argument I would make, and it's a bit of a different circumstance, it would be if Deck Nine wanted its talent back. I.e., for example, they did it with Zach Harris when they tried to bring him back, and the writers, certain people within Deck Nine decided like, no, we don't want him back, and they basically like put their foot down, and then Deck Nine didn't bring him back. If it's to bring him back to the studio specifically for long term, then yes, I think people would go back because I think they have a lot of love for the studio and a lot of like passion to work there, etc. But for a
Sure.
short term stay to work on Life is Strange, it wouldn't make any sense, especially where the timeline is. They have enough talent as it is to make the game that they need to. And the way that the layoffs are going at the minute, it kind of paints you a picture of how they're laying people off and what they're doing there as well. I think that's another quite clear sign. I don't see them bringing any talent on board now at this point. It's like, we're at the we are also as well. Let's just be honest as well. This is an industry known for crunching people. Not referring to any of these studios that we just mentioned, but like this is an industry known for crunching people. And they're probably going to look at the tech artist and be like, "You can be a narrative director for a day." It's like work late nights and do that. But that's the truth, though. They'll probably just make other
That's
people
just
work
any
excess amount.
industry. Like that's just not
Yeah.
just the video game industry. That's any industry. Like you just get signed on because everybody will get rid of people, but they're like, oh, but this guy is super talented. He can do two jobs at once. He can be a line cook and a prep cook, and he can be a bartender. It's all three packages, but no extra pay. That's just every industry now. It's stupid and it sucks and it's gonna burn people out. So thanks AI culture for just making everything like, oh, we could just automate that. Go to hell, JD Vance, for saying it like, oh, but like we can automate farms because of AI, which is an actual statement he said that like we'll get rid of farm workers, but AI will help automate farm work. So that's my tangent.
Fair enough. No, I think it's just a little bit too gone, that one. So I
Yeah.
think we'll move on to the next one, and we'll keep
Yeah,
on
let me
to a
see this.
similar theme.
Let me see this youth pastor talk that you keep talking about.
Not yet, because that's Clark's comment, so that will come in later, and we need to warm
Ah,
you up for that.
all right.
Adam, I'm gonna go
I
to
like
this
it when
comment. Kevin Lackner, as you can
yes.
see here, 4 days ago. But just imagine for a second DE was never a thing. Would you have liked an Avengers type Life is Strange story with all the characters that have powers? Or even every episode, a different old character as suggested by MTT19 in the comments of episode 108 side B.
The hell is that?
What's that?
What comment is he talking about?
He's saying that's the comment it was referring to, which is that
Oh.
MTT19
Oh,
referred to at doing an episode with each character separately. So you have like maybe 5 episode structure. And it's a different character,
oh, gotcha.
different old character. So let
No,
me just quickly address this before you start this as well,
go for it.
Mr. Kevin Lackner. You don't do comment of the day. You don't go and pull out other people's comments. That is for me and Adam to choose that.
Yeah.
Overstepping your mark here. This could be straight into the abyss. Full kick into there in a
Yeah.
minute. No, I'm joking. Well, Adam said no, no. I
Yeah.
don't want an event. No, it's just
Like
like
nobody in the Life is Strange community wanted an Avengers style. It's not that Life is Strange has never been like it's always been okay. Let's put this straight. Life is Strange has always been a connected universe. We can all
yeah.
agree on that. It is a connected universe, and it all is an anthology. But nobody was asking for the connected universe to come together Avenger style, right? I think they wanted it to come together. I want to say like Heroes style. Remember how Heroes does it, where it's like everything had its consequence because of the connected universe,
Yeah.
right? Especially season 1 of Heroes, where like and going into season 2, where like every action that these people did had a consequence based on where they were in that kind of style, right? There's consequences, I would say. Um, But yeah, no, I would do it like that, but Avenger style where they all unite, kind of like Captain Planets, you know?
Yeah.
Um, no, I would not want that. To be told from the perspective of 5 old characters, maybe, because that's what I'm going into with the whole hero style. Like, you
Mm.
can go into different things and, you ever see the movie Vantage Point, with Dennis Quaid?
Oh, no,
Dennis
but I've
Quaid,
heard of it though.
yeah, Forrest Whitaker. Yeah, no, it was a good film, but it's all connected from each vantage point
Mm.
of different characters. Something like that. Maybe. But Avenger style, absolutely not. No, I would not do that. Where'd we go? There
We're
we
off the
are.
screen again. I keep doing
Yeah.
that. Um, no, I wouldn't want the Avengers style thing. And even when you said the episode connecting thing as well, this is actually technically in one episode that is done. But
Mhm.
even The Walking Dead 400 Days, which I have always think back on thinking
Yes.
that's actually a really enjoyable piece of content where it's like singular stories in the episode.
Oh,
I
okay.
wouldn't even be against them doing it as like,
Oh, yes,
separate.
yes, yes, yes. I was for some reason I was thinking Michonne.
Oh
That
no,
one.
no, no!
That's what I
We
was
don't
like,
talk about Michelle.
enjoy it now. Has it aged well? But yeah, 400 days, the DLC thing. Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
yeah,
that
which
was
I
great.
thought was very good though. Yeah, that was the connecting bridge
Yeah.
between one and two, and I think we don't talk about Michelle. Michelle was not very good.
Yeah, I was just like,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, I think like that was a good story because it's like those little anthology stories told in within a bigger universe kind of thing. And I think you could do it with Life is Strange if you wanted to. Again, it'd be blurring too many lines with that as well by doing like separate episodes with separate characters. But I could do it. I just wouldn't want them to really overlap unless
Yeah.
it's within a bigger story. I think like the missed opportunity I think with Life is Strange is what Emma had the opportunity to do with the comics, where, for example, Rachel Amber bumps into Brody because they are traveling on the road, the girls, and then they bump into Brody because it's
Mm,
like he's on the road as well, and it's like those opportunities where other characters could have bled into the universe just in passing mention or passing by kind of thing. Because I think even breaks my heart every time she says this as well. Like she said that one of the plans was for Rachel, Max, and Chloe to bump into Sean and Daniel because they're on the road and the boys
yes.
are on the road for Life is Strange 2. But then obviously Don't Nod is making its game, etc. You don't know what's going to happen there, so they didn't do it. But I think that there's a missed opportunity where you have characters coming in and out of it. I think that was a letdown for double exposure because people had that theory where it's like, characters might be coming in and out of the universe and seeing things. I just think that's a missed opportunity there. And it works as well. Dave Madsen was a good example of it. Don't know, I
Yeah.
did really good work with him. Um, but as a Life is Strange assembling team, no, I would get the heads of them as well. I would wear the shirt every single time. I'd have Hannah Tell here, Erica Mori here, Ashley Birch here,
Yeah.
Katie Vance here,
Yeah.
and Gonzalo Martin here, and also Roman George as well.
Mm.
And on the back, I'd have Diane Hutton as Alyssa, as
Ah,
like the kind of like the the
yeah.
reserve member of the team coming in and uniting the Avengers. No, it's just oh god almighty. Do you want to read that as well? I just anytime someone mentions the Avengers and Life is Strange, I just Jonathan Stauder's face just like flashes before my eyes and those interviews, and he seems so excited about it. And I was like, "Oh, Johnny!" It's like, "No,
Yeah.
Johnny, we
Like,
don't do Avengers around these parts, my friend."
how out of touch do you have to be with the community to, like, think that was a good idea? Like, that's what it
did
was. Yeah.
Did you see the last game?
I know. Like, that's what I mean, though. It's just, like, it was so out of touch with, like, what the community thinks about Life is Strange. It's just so out of touch with, like, what Life is Strange is. So, no, I would say absolutely not. Yeah.
Uh, Also, as well, the reaction was like corporate level, where they're like, "What? We thought you wanted that." It's like,
Yeah.
what?
So,
It's like, no,
like,
we did not want that.
nobody asked for this, man. Nobody asked for this. Yeah.
Nobody wanted that. So yes, thank you for that question, Kevin. Let's move on, Adam. We'll move to Clark's, but I'm going to hold off the big church question for the time being.
Big
So we'll come on to
church.
that.
Yes.
So Adam, let's move up here. Let's go to Clark's again. So we're up here. Gonna stick with this one, Adam. So at
Okay.
the end of DE, Moses asks Max if she is ready to stop running from the blue-haired girl. Then finally says her name, Chloe. Max nods and says, yes, just not yet. Forget the fact that the narrative states Chloe left Max. Pretty
Yeah.
inconsistent writing, but whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously, DE2 obviously
Forgot
DE2
about
has been in
that.
the works. DE2 has been in the works alongside DE. Do you think the second game may actually have been intending to include Chloe in some form, and Square/D9 were ready to really hide her for the second game? Dun, dun, dun.
So to quote my co-host here, if I talk, I'm in big trouble.
No, it's if I speak, I'm in big trouble. It is Jose Mourinho that.
Yeah,
If I speak, I am.
I'm in big. I'll be in big trouble. I'll let you comment first.
So let's pull this up on screen.
Yeah,
I think let's just address the first part then.
Yes.
I think like one of the things which was like that. I think like the idea of like her not mentioning Max's name is like, sorry, Max not mentioning Chloe's name is an interesting like trauma response / kind of thing that you do. One of the things that obliterates it for me, Adam, in my opinion, with that is that you have the internal monologues that Max has when she does flashbacks, and she mentions Chloe's name, and it's like she mentions it near the beginning of the game when she's hanging the photo up on the wall. You know, when she's like, you know, all these things happen and stuff. It's like, you know, Jesus Christ Almighty, this game, man. Do you know what? I'm going to say this as well. One thing I utterly despise about this game at the minute is the discourse. And it's, for example, if you like this game, great. So there's many times, enjoy it, etc. This game and the arch defenders of it, you have basically ended up in the Last of Us ecosystem, because anyone who criticizes Last of Us 2, it's because Joel died and not because the game's full of inconsistent plot armors. Stop using that argument. It's not a flex. It's not a smart idea. If you're disseminating this conversation into Chloe not being in the game, you are as stupid as anyone else on this planet of trying to defend this game, because there are so many inconsistencies. It actually makes me infuriated. How this game ever got nominated for a BAFTA long list, I don't know. Like, aspire, kids. Dream big. You can do anything at this point. Like, it's truly that. The bar is so low. On the front of the question, which was that obviously DE2 has been in the works alongside. Do you think the second game actually may have been intended to include Chloe in some form, and Square and D9 were trying to hide her in the second game?
Yeah.
On surface level conversation, Adam. On surface level conversation, I think the game, the way it plays, I still think Chloe has a very, 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 very minimal role, no matter what happens here, because clearly this is a Safi and Max game. It's more interested in that. And the only grace that makes it quote unquote a more Chloe game / now a revisionist game, if you choose to do this as well, a revisionist / story direction game, is the fact that how the first double exposure ends, which is that you merge the timelines, and that gives you room to then make Chloe a bit more of an important character. Ultimately, the way that the game plays out, it's already making a pig's dinner, as I famously say as well, in the British sense, because but it is though. Like the problem is as well is that because of the game and how it's doing it, and this is where the story shows time and time again, you're going from Bay and Bay, BAE, BAY endings. Chloe is not important enough in that side of the story for you to do that. And then eventually, if you just make it a Chloe-centric game, you then piss off all the people that killed Chloe off in the first game and then minimize their choice of that thing. So you're basically, you're in a lose-lose situation here. You're in a lose-lose situation, and you can't win from that.
Yeah.
Can Chloe play a big part in the thingy? In revisionist history sense, yes, they can. In the short-term sense, with all the leaks and stuff we've seen, I don't think so. I don't think they're going to make her that massive, because they can't do all the things that they need to. You'd have to basically scrap everything, go back to the drawing board, spend 4 years on this game, and make it from scratch, do a Chloe revisionist piece to make Pricefield happy. Ain't going to happen at this point. I still think the Safi and Max is the main focus as the way that the game is going, because that's how the game is told. Chloe will be like a factor in that, but you can clearly see the intention with Chloe that she's not involved in that much in the franchise in any way, shape, or form. I mean, the focus groups will probably be able to tell you a bit more at this point, because it seems like that's what is dictating the franchise's path. But Yeah, I mean, like again, there's so much potential. Even the Chloe and Max thing, there's so much potential there to play with trauma and ideas. Emma does it really well, Adam, because you haven't read the comics yet, but Emma does it really well. Do you when Max and Chloe get split in the comics and they go into the different universes like that? The fact that you have some of the cutaway shots, the original panels where Chloe's in the original universe, you can see there's trauma on her, and you can see there's like a lot of sorrow and grief, and the same with other Max. And it's about a process of healing characters and kind of getting things together. You don't split them, but you split them in a sense that we need time, we need space, do that kind of thing. But this is just not. There's just so many plot holes here. Like whatever, whatever the substance was that original story, that is not in this product anymore. There's just so
Yeah,
many like
yeah. But
rewrites and
there's also like other things like factoring in why this can happen. So yeah, I don't think that that was their intent to like hide Chloe in this way.
no.
So um yeah, no, that's not that I don't think so. Yeah, to answer your
Yeah,
question.
you're yeah, it's just she if here's the other thing actually, there's a better way of putting it on a surface level conversation. If she was more important, she would have been far more prevalent in the story of the first game.
Yeah.
She's there in passing mentions, so she's there for flashback sequences.
Mm.
She is there for certain strategic plot points, i.e., like Safi and Max sitting across the coffee table and talking. Max and um, Max and Moses at the end of the game talking about Chloe. And then even earlier in the game when you make the choice, who's the blue haired girl, etc., there are certain strategic plot points where Chloe is placed into it. She's not a constant all the way through. She becomes a plot device in certain moments. So for example, when Max is going through the she's going for the she's going with the Safi bathroom sequence, dark room stuff, all plot, all serves the plot. She's coming into play. We bring Chloe into it. Otherwise, it's not as important. The story continues because it's going into a different direction. I think that kind of paints you the image of it. With the idea that was claimed about this game, the fact that it was one game and then split into two, as rumors have surfaced and things have been said online,
Yeah.
that would paint you a picture that they could have been doing that as well. Because again, ultimately, it goes back to how double exposure ends. What happens at the end of that game? The timelines merge. And that
Yes.
means that a Chloe Price has to exist in this new world in some way, shape, or form because a Safi exists in this world. So there's where you can bounce off of. That's what I would bounce off of. Ultimately, as well. You know what?
Yeah.
I think we were joking about this recently, me and you. It was like, do you when things just get progressively worse in telling a story and you're like, how do I save myself? My favorite part by far
Yeah.
is Max Caulfield will return is already a kick in the teeth, and especially from people who got laid off on that studio. But the best part is that after credit sequence with Diamond having a nosebleed because you're like, what?
Oh,
It's like,
dude.
do we have to deal with that now? It's like, where did that come from? And it's like, oh yeah, now that's a plot point that we need to deal with. Like,
Yeah, and that's the worst part is that like they didn't think about this. They didn't think at all about this. It's just like, oh my god, dude, what a mess! What a mess of a franchise right now.
truly,
It's just god awful.
truly. It's
Yeah.
it's like it's like it's like you going into the kitchen after like 4 chefs have been into it and have tried to
Yes.
make the starter for the main and you're trying to pick up the pieces of what's been
Which
left
has
off.
happened before. And like
Yeah.
I came into a restaurant where like 3 of them were just like at each other's throats, and like the manager wasn't even in. I was like, "Oh my god, dude, what the hell?" Yeah, no, it's just a mess. What a mess, dude. So yeah, no, I
Joy
don't think they're trying to hide Chloe to answer your question.
joy to the world. So let's continue on from this as well.
Yeah,
Oh guys, we have a lot of fun together. Whilst enjoy me and Adam whilst we're here. One day we'll disappear and it's gonna be like you guys are gonna be watching it, we're gonna be
God
watching it from the
hoping.
sideline. Me
If the will of our Lord and Savior Cthulhu, I will be gone from this planet.
Me, you, and Abby will be stood over like the observatory in double exposure, like the four
The
horsemen of
real
the
triple
apocalypse.
A.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the triple A, the triple A tag team threat.
Yeah.
Um, Adam,
Yes.
going back to Kevin Lackner here. I'm gonna pick this one out because I think it's a pretty chill question. If you could have lunch with one Lost Records character, who would it be?
One? Just one.
Just
Uh
one.
uh um uh uh Shadow. No, pumpkin.
The cat.
Yeah, the cat. Yeah. Yeah,
This
we
is-
have one with pumpkin. Yeah.
What about one non-human? Because I was gonna say you can't say shadow because it's a character.
Yeah.
One human character.
One human character? You're
Yes,
saying that pumpkin isn't part of the family?
I said
You know?
one human. I'm saying one
Fine.
non-human.
Be that way. Be speciest. Um. Man. Dang. Man.
You're really
That's
torn
a
on this.
hard
Why are
one.
you really torn?
I don't know, because there's like a lot of like interesting characters within Lost Records that I'm just like one character. And then like do I like go to lunch with the adult versions of these characters too? Like uh adult version of Autumn. Adult version Autumn.
That would be good. That'd be a
Yeah,
nice
I would
shout.
say that. But then adult version Swan also like just seems like cool. Like it keeps good company, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, like that's what I mean.
It's hard,
Adult
isn't it? You get to hear Olivia Lepore laugh as well when she's doing Adult Swan as well. So it's like you miss out on that when you get
yeah,
really
you know what?
methodical conversation with.
I'm locking in Adult Swan. Adult Swan.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I'm
Nice.
locking in on my answer on that one.
So I think I'd go to lunch with Gertie, but I think like that's my non-human character.
Yeah.
Once I've freed her from the Mickelson Ranch, we go for
Uh,
lunch.
yeah.
Character would probably be Dylan. I think Dylan would
Yeah.
be a vibe.
Okay. Yeah.
I think she's just a really interesting character. I wish we had more time with her. I think she's such an interesting
Yeah.
character. I think she'd just be a really, really interesting vibe to kind of talk with and have that. Nora would also be a big pick for me as well because we'd probably be
Yes.
out in the smoking area, me and her, just like eating cigarettes. She gives me it's weird as well. I don't know why for some reason she gives me in a certain way. Adult Nora gives me Mia Wallace vibes as well a little bit at certain points, but maybe I'm projecting a bit too much from Pulp Fiction. Big Uma Thurman vibes. I don't know why, but as
Yeah.
well. Yeah, I think maybe adult Nora and Dylan
Yeah.
would be my go-to picks. I think they would be really quite interesting. I think we're limited on dinner choices as well because the Blue Spruce seems to be the main location of the game to go for that. So yeah, I think those would be my go-to picks for that. So
Okay.
thank you,
Yeah.
Kevin, for that question. Adam, we're gonna go back to Clark's and we'll put the big one up for it now.
All
Here,
right. I'm
so
curious about this.
let's go to this. Yeah, and by the way, as well, Adam does not see these as well. I kind of like preempt him and surprise him with the questions
Yeah.
before he comes
Surprise, surprise.
on. So, Adam, this is from Clark's. This is a super personal question, so please skip if too personal. Never too personal. We have to just dodge other questions. Adam, you have mentioned being a youth minister in the past. It seems like something negative happened, but I won't cry. I think it's pry into that.
I won't cry into it. Yeah, go for it.
What I want to know, as a person of faith myself, how has that journey as a youth leader and your current situation impacted your faith or lack thereof? So for context as well, I stumbled this for Adam himself when he was talking about the youth pastor, and then even Abby has grown intrigued. She's like, "Is he youth pastor and he's Jewish?" I'm like, "Yes, that's something like that." But I do remember when we met and you were talking about, because obviously you had an interesting experience with episode 4. Faith from Life is Strange 2, because there was a lot of stuff that happened in that, which just had its anniversary as well yesterday. I should add. So yes, Adam, leave it to you. Where do you stand on this? How do you feel about your faith and among many other things after your experience as
what was the first part of this question? Can I see that again? Like
yes,
how
so
it seems like
I will
something
move you
negative
here.
happened. Yeah, it seemed like something
Yes.
negative happened. Okay. Yeah, so I want to get into this. I don't want to spend too much time on this. Not in a way of like I just don't want to take too much time away from everybody's questions. The negative thing that happened, I worked as a paid youth pastor at 3 different churches. And every single time I would grow my youth group to a degree that no one would ever do. Like I think my best one was I grew it from 13 kids. In 6 months, I did it to 60 kids. So it started as 13 and went to 60 within 6 months. And the biggest problem was like I was in my 20s. So I was cocky, but at the same time when they were say like, "Oh, Adam, you're you're just on your own island. Why don't you bring us with you? And I was like, I will bring you with me, but like I'm doing the thing. I'll tell you how I'm doing it. You just have to listen to me.
Mm.
So the negative thing is that like they let me go because I did hear from like people from the inside that they were jealous of like not, I don't want to say like jealous, but they made it seem like I was making them look bad on purpose, and I wasn't. I was all just saying like, hey, we can grow the church. If that's your goal, we can
Mhm.
grow. There was another church where I wanted to bring in quote unquote street kids, and they the I that church, I any decision I had to do, I had to go through 3 different committees, and I
Mhm.
this was committee number 2 that I was going through, and they said no because, and I quote, that would be a detriment to the church kids. And I just said, well, isn't that what you want to do? You can't just say spread the gospel, but then as soon as you want to bring more people in, you can't just be in
Mm.
your own bubble. Um, Here's my problem is that it didn't really affect my faith more than it did affect the way I view the American church. And I say American church very, very specifically. Because the American church is very much in a problem that you are set into this bubble
Mhm.
where only people who are within that church are within this inside group, right?
Yeah.
It's all inside groupings where that anybody from the outside coming in, uh they don't know the lyrics to the songs, right? Even though you put the lyrics up, they don't they don't know what's happening, right? It's all
Mhm.
inside jokes. Um and anything about just like announcements and the way the songs are done, it's always 3 songs and then announcement, then one more song, and then 30 minutes of a sermon, and then maybe a song after that. Anything
Yeah.
outside of that section, you're not deemed like a good church, right? So it's all like inside baseball talk. And I think it's kind of a detriment to outside people that if you want to grow your church in a way that like you're really spreading the gospel of Jesus Christ, then you have to be open to, hey, people coming in from the outside, people who have never been to a church, they don't know
Mm.
what this is like, and this is kind of scary to them.
Yeah.
So to answer your question further, like what did this do to my faith? I didn't really throw my faith, like I don't really like throw out the baby with the bathwater. My whole predicament is like I just don't agree with how the American church is run.
Mm.
I don't agree with how they project themselves to the world, because it is kind of like this bubble that they're in. I still remember we went on like this street ministry, which most churches don't know what street ministry actually is. Let's just be
Yeah.
real. And they were giving pamphlets out, and they gave this pamphlet to this one little girl, and they were telling her about like, oh, here's the church, here's the church. The mom like took the pamphlet and just said like, hey, we're Muslim, and just like gave the pamphlet back. And as we're walking down the street, all the people were just like questioning of like, how could they, take away like an internal gift of freedom with Christ? How could they don't understand other religions. They don't understand.
Mhm.
And they will not, and they refuse to understand other religions.
Right.
Um so I guess it grew me more agnostic more than anything else.
Mhm.
I do believe there is a higher power, but the way the church is run is just it's kind of a detriment. Um the last church I left, I will say this, that is a little bit more personal of why they let me go, so I won't get into that. But it was a very rocky separation that had to do with, I'll put it this way. They gave me an ultimatum that's, I say that like, well, you do what we say without question, or you can leave. Guess what I did? I left. Like there was things that like there was definitely things that they said that they didn't give me any guidance on. Like for example, the summer program, right? And I said, well,
Mm.
what is your expectations for me in the summer? The actual legitimate, I'm not even making this up. The legitimate, what they told me to do, set a home run. What does that mean? What is your parameters of hitting a home run? Just hit a home run this summer.
Right.
That was legitimately their response to me asking, what do you want me to do? Like, what are you looking for in a summer program? Just hit a home run. And then when I didn't hit a home run in that ultimatum, they said, well, because of the summer program was kind of a flop, we're going to have to give you more direct instructions of like what we expect. That's what I asked. So it's like, it was just like, then what do you want? So there's more
It
to that.
sounds like you're
Yeah.
well and truly in the church politics there.
No, it was the last church was insane with church. I've been a part of churches where church politics are like kind of like making sure everybody's accountable. And then this one was just like, no, you are locked behind red tape. You have to play the game, and it's just it was so ridiculous. So I think it damaged my way of viewing of the American church. And don't get me started about all the people like, well, my church is different. I've been to at least 200 churches around America, and no, your church is not different. I can 100% guarantee you that. But on a lighter note, to end on a good note, does this mean I convince people to stop going to church? No. If you want to go to church, I am not going to stop you. In fact, my whole thing of that was like, I want to build your church. Here's how to build your church. So that would be dumb of me if I said, oh, I go to church. Should I stop going? My whole thing was growing the church. So just like, yeah, no, like if you want to, do you, man. It just damaged my personal from the inside. And I know the games that they're playing. It's just kind of like, I don't think it didn't damage my my faith. It damaged my faith in the church, if that makes any sense.
Your faith in the American church specifically.
In the American church specifically, I do believe so, because it's just too when you okay, I'll end on this. I will end on this, and Adnan, I want your perspective as someone who's not in the church. You heathen. But when you present your tithe offerings, and the tithe offerings are to pay the mortgage of the church, which yes, that happens a lot. Like, and they will put up the numbers and say, we're this close to paying off the mortgage for our, and I'm not kidding you with this, a $5 million church. And your tithes are helping pay off that debt.
Saying that, actually, there was an interesting comparison that, because even when my dad was alive, God rest his soul, when he went to the mosque here, they used to ask people for money, like during donations to the mosque, and then even that as well, they used to make it. I didn't like how they did it, because they were like, and this guy has donated £200 and £300. I'm like, this isn't humble brag kind of thing. Maybe just take the donation quietly, and just like, because it's a selfless act as well. If you're giving to the institution of that religion, you want to do it selflessly and quietly. It's not about.
Yes.
It came across as humble brag, and some people are just there because like their faith is empowering them, and it's also if they are in poverty as well. Like, people do turn to religion as well, because it just give them strength amid a climate where it's horrible. So I know what you mean by the church thing. When you said it, I was like, actually, that kind of strikes me a little bit here.
That's what I mean, though. It's just like a tithe should be going towards emergency funds. And when the last church I did, I cut my funding by over half, because I was
Right.
I remember I told you about this, that like I cut my funding in half because I was like, hey, this money that was donated by the church members, this should be going to an elderly fund. This should be going to an emergency fund. What if somebody needs money for an emergency surgery? We should have funds in this church that is this. And I never asked for a raise. Never asked for a raise once, because like one, I felt like I was well compensated. I was compensated just fine to live. And two, like we should be using this money to help other people. It's a tithe. It should be going to the people. It should be going to the community, not making a $5 million church. It's ridiculous. So Yeah, I would never work in a church ever again. Like that's that I can say that for 100,000% certainty. I'm never going to work in the church ever again. Um, but it's just damaged my views of the American church. Like what are your
Also,
thoughts on that? Yeah.
yeah, your situation is pretty well. Like in itself as well, people need to understand like Adam is from a Jewish faith as well. And Abby was like mind blown by the fact that Adam worked as a youth pastor because Abby is
Yeah.
also Jewish, if you're wondering. And she's like, what's the connection there? I was like, I don't really know. I don't really ask him that much.
So
Like,
to answer that question very quickly, I am Jewish on my father's side, so that makes me not like really Jewish because it comes from the mother's side, right? My father's side is Hungarian Jewish, and I didn't find that out because my dad was a deadbeat, and most of his family is dead. And I grew up in a very, very conservative family, and so like I'm connecting to my culture in that way. So
yeah, you're well
there's
and
that.
truly stuck into American religion, politics, culture, everything. Like I feel it.
Yeah. Yeah, after I left the church, I kind of connected more to my Jewish heritage. I studied Buddhism a lot, but Stoic philosophy as well. But it's just more of like I've lost my faith in the American church.
And it happens, you know. It's not like it's
Yeah,
an uncommon anomaly. People have that, especially in America, and even like in Europe as well. Like people lose their faith as well. It's a lot of contradictions as well. Like I don't have a faith, but like, you know, like in itself, like I've seen it with like even with Islam as well. Like people have like contradictions and they kind of like lose their faith in it because like it's different cultural expectations, it's societal expectations and stuff, and like things that just
mhm.
don't make sense. So yeah, it's an interesting conversation to be had, but it's a big part of your life, and yeah, it's one of a
Yeah.
real eye opener. It's like a biography you can make out of that, like what happened there,
I
the
could write
events.
a book about like every time I was in that church, man. Like, so like I still remember. So to give context, my first job, my first like paid job in youth ministry, I was the lead for fourth and fifth graders, right? And I would lead 60 of fourth and fifth, 60 of these kids without volunteers because some of the volunteers just didn't show up. And I'm
Mhm.
like, well, you're a volunteer and you have lives. I totally understand. But like it would be just me and my wife, who was my fiance at the time. Me and my wife would just be like with fourth and fifth graders and just doing it by myself. When it came time for them to graduate, going into youth group in the sixth grade, apparently a lot of parents said, my fifth grader doesn't want to go to, let's just say, Brian's. I'm not going to use his real name. They don't want to go to Brian's class, right? They want to stick with Adam's class. Is that okay if he sticks to Adam's class? Ooh, that got under Brian's skin, dude. It definitely did. It 100% did. Because here's the funny part. I was Brian's student at one point. I was in his youth
Mhm.
group. So for me to grow up and then also pretty much lap him in terms of like what I can do for like teaching kids. I think it got under his skin a little bit, and I just said, I've had enough. I'm done, Like, because he got a
Mhm.
little salty about it. He's like saying, like, Adam, let me teach you about a couple things. I'm like, sounds like I can teach you a couple things, dude. Like scoreboard. So yeah, that's my spew. Uh,
That is, yeah, it's pretty
yeah,
wild. I won't lie to
yeah.
you. It's yeah. I hope you enjoyed that. It's one hell of a ride because we've always said we like to go back to Life is Strange episode 4 Faith to Life is Strange 2 episode 4 Faith and look at that
Yeah,
game. I
that
think Adam is
really connected with me. I was like, "Yeah, I've been to churches that are similar in that way."
yeah.
That's not an anomaly. Michelle did his research. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, that's the ultimate vindication you get from a
Yeah.
recommendation on that. I think we should go into two questions more. I think we'll take one from Clark's, we'll take one from Kevin, and then we'll wrap up there. Obviously, guys, as well, if you want to like roll your questions over to the next month, just put them in there as well. You can just copy and paste them. Kevin did it with this one, so it is an option. So let's go to Kevin for his last question for this Patreon episode, and then we'll go and comment at the podcast and spread the lovely arts
Mhm.
as it is. So Adam, Kevin, do you want to go for a Life is Strange question, a Lost Records question, a non one, vague one personal about me?
Let's go personal about you, since I went super personal.
Jesus Christ. Kevin Lackner says that feel free to add / not mention or lie about it on the podcast if you can't tell us this or if you don't want to talk about it. I guess your favorite club is Manchester United. Please correct me if I'm wrong. Did you become a Manchester United fan?
How did you? Like, what was your coming to faith of Manchester United?
Well, it is a religion for some people becoming a football / soccer team supporter, especially in the UK. I know some people. I know a guy who I worked with who like spent a fortune going to see the Champions League final in Portugal. Like that was crazy, like how much money he spent. I was like, no, was it him? Yeah, I think we had like a thing where it's like, if someone could pay you £1 million or something, would you stop watching football forever? I'm pretty sure he said no, and it was like, what? It's like I would take that in a heartbeat. I'd never watch it again from that. My coming to was basically like, obviously immigrant family. My mum and dad lived here. We had our grandma who lived with us as well for a long time. My sister was a lot older than me. My brother was a lot older, and then I think we naturally grew up in Manchester at the time as well. And it's like Manchester United was the biggest team in England at that time as well, growing in the Alex Ferguson era of football, of his reign at Old Trafford. And then naturally just kind of clinged on to that because Manchester United were the big Manchester team at the time. Obviously, Manchester City are now big as well. Like, they've had a lot of success in the last 12, 15 years, thanks to the massive influence of Qatari money that's come into that club. But like, generally speaking, yeah, we all grew up as Manchester United fans. All of us, me, my brother, my sister, all Manchester United fans. We grew up watching it. It was like crazy because we remember all the memorable points because like we saw David Beckham become a superstar, and it was like that massive superstar rise for him. We were just big fans of players. Even funny part as well, my grandma lived with us, so she was like born in the 1940s, didn't understand barely any English, never spoke English her entire life, was from like, she lived in India, she went through the partition of India, she went and like lived in Pakistan, came and lived here, and like even she knew who Wayne Rooney was, like the footballer. And it's so wild. It's like just this immigrant woman who like just knows enough.
Everton, baby. Rooney.
But even she knew it as well. So she like knew who Wayne Rooney was. She knew who Sir Alex Ferguson was. She used to watch Ferguson. Ferguson was the manager of the football team, Manchester United, legendary manager. Like 26 years he was at Manchester United, Scottish guy, and with Sir Alex Ferguson as well, he famously chewed chewing gum. So you'd see him every shot of the camera, he'd be like chewing this chewing gum furiously. And I just remember one line from my grandma. She's like, if he chews that anymore, he's just gonna like his teeth are gonna break. And he always used to pan to his camera of like just chewing in the dugout area, the technical area where he was sitting. But yeah, basically we became Manchester United fans from like just a young age, and we supported them. And then like I've stuck with them. I've even stuck with them during the dire years of the last 12 years of Manchester United not winning a league title after seeing them win in my lifetime 13. They won all 13 when I was growing up, like the Premier League side in 92. Did we won the inaugural one, didn't we? More or less, I watched at least 10 of them minimum growing up, at least seeing them as a young child and whatnot. So it has been dire. I feel like a Chicago Bulls fan at the minute, not seeing my team win any major honors, and the Bulls will see that. It's wild as well, because one of the things that happens here is it's wild fact. So Alex Ferguson is a really famous manager because obviously brought in a lot of success in England with Manchester United. But before he came to Manchester United, he was manager of Aberdeen in Scotland. And even in the 80s and early 80s, late 70s, Ferguson created a dynasty at Aberdeen in Scottish club because Rangers and Celtic are the two biggest teams in Scotland, and they hold a monopoly over pretty much all the major silverware domestic leagues competition. And Ferguson won league titles with Aberdeen. He famously beat Real Madrid in the final of the European Cup Winners' Cup. That is the last time Real Madrid has has lost a final. That is a fact that stands for over 40 years. Real Madrid has not lost a final of a major European competition since Alex Ferguson's Aberdeen side beat them in the early 1980s. And since Alex Ferguson left Aberdeen has not won a single piece of silverware. So it's like it's almost like United and Manchester United, two teams which were enjoyed so much success because of Sir Alex Ferguson, but they not have that. So yeah, that's how my stories come about, and then obviously the rest is history. So that's where we'll sit with that. So thank you for that question, Kevin, and we'll wrap up here with Clarx for the final question, Adam. And then we are done here. We'll go into comment on the podcast. So I'm going to pull this up here. Nope, yeah, that one. So we're going to go back up here and we'll go to the last one from Clarx. And where was it now? There it is. Tell us Tell us one piece of info, either lost records or Life is Strange related, that you probably shouldn't share, but you will because we are your lovely Patreon members and you can trust us.
My butt cheek is in one of the episodes. You have to go find it.
That's an interesting fact. That oh
Yes.
god, I wish it wouldn't tell me before I knew. Oh my god, it'd be like fireworks. A lot of my information is unfortunate. Do you know what? I'll leave you with one piece. It'll just
Okay.
be an interesting idea. And I spoke to Adam about this. Adam, I'm gonna go. This is a bit of a blast from the past. Um, as you can see here, it's a very old graphic. Jesus Christ, so old compared to the other ones. This was an old graphic from time Double Exposure was being released.
Hmm.
As you can see there, and I'm gonna pull it up on screen for the bigger people. I'm gonna try and zoom in on this. Is it on screen? Can you see it full screen
Yeah, I
without
can
it
see it.
cutting things off?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so just double check that. Yeah, it's not quite anything else. So this was an interview, very low key interview. I don't remember really anyone talking about it until I did it. So this was an interview with Aisha Farah and Jonathan Stauder, game director and writer, respectively, on Deck Nine's Life is Strange Double Exposure. Spoke to Gamer Braves. It was such a weird piece, came out of nowhere, and I found it, which made me remind. So this was Jonathan Stauder and Aisha Farah speaking about it. And this was a quote. It says, during the development of Life is Strange Double Exposure, certain aspects of Max Caulfield's powers evolved a great deal. Often we made budget adjustments to our powers to work with our budget. And then on speaking of an abandoned concept within the power of entanglement, it says here, quote unquote, Max could entangle the locked phone with other phone to unlock it and spy on what the person was using their phone for. End quote.
Yes.
A very interesting quote. I'm not going to give you anything major or anything else like that because, but entanglement's a very interesting power. Let me just put it that way. You'll,
Yes.
if you connect dots, yeah, might see what happens in Double Exposure, but it's a very interesting thing. That was not just a wishy-washy comment from Aisha Farah and John Stauder. There's a lot more to it because it's in the game still. It's there. It plays a part in certain plot points. It is in the settings of the game and whatnot, but there's a lot more to what entanglement is. So I will leave that here for you guys. So that's the little bit. There is a lot more, but we ain't going to say anything else like that. So anyway, I hope you all enjoyed this podcast episode. We'll move into comment of the podcast, Adam, and I think these are some interesting ones here. So let's pick out the first one here. Obviously, first up, Dream Prism is back. Yay, Dream Prism.
Yay.
So this is from episode 109, side B, these two comments, because we are still backlogged, but episode 109, side B, these two comments are from. Episode 110 drops today on the 21st of August, so bear with us, so you're going to get that. We're taking two comments from that because we haven't, and then we hopefully will be back on schedule. This is from Dream Prism. His comment was, Adam sounds like a crack addict begging Don't Nod for the astronaut game to come out on his birthday.
Yeah, dude. You better believe it, dude. I'll be addicted to that game all the way through. Yeah, you better believe I'm scratching my neck for some Aphelion. Yeah, dude.
That was an outstanding comment. I love Alex.
Yeah.
What a guy. So yeah, that was that comment. And then the other one is from, and this was late again. I was going to pick another one, but Lost Fan is currently taking over comment of the podcast because Lost Fan 2010 is back again on comment of the podcast. And they thought, I worry about Hannah's future spinal health, the way she carried the game on her back.
Yeah.
And do you remember that Snoop Dogg meme that said, this motherfucker don't miss?
Yes.
This motherfucker don't miss, which I thought was like outstanding for a comment. So yes, those are two comments on the podcast. So thank you so much for those. Please leave one on this podcast or side A as well. We'll be back on schedule. So leave one on side A and side B of this podcast, and we'll pick out the best one for the next podcast episode when we get to that. So yeah, we're done here. Adam, spread the arts. What are you spreading?
You know what? I haven't beaten it yet. But I am very much enjoying my time with it. But it's a game called Sword of the Sea, and it came out. Yes, it came out on PlayStation. I believe it's on PlayStation Plus Extra, so you can download it there.
Okay.
But it's from the same art director behind Journey. Founded his own studio into Giant Squid, where they made Abzu and The Pathless, and it's their third game from that studio called Sword of the Sea. If you do enjoy Journey, if you loved Abzu, if you love the Pathless, like those types of games, it plays very, very similar,
Right.
especially to Journey, where you're surfing through on your sword, which is
Mhm.
crazy, dude. You use your sword as like this skateboard, surfboard, snowboard on some levels. And you're rebuilding the world. You are rebuilding it in a natural sense. So it's very much intuitive. You can unlock different tricks in the game. You can unlock spin moves. You can unlock like different combos. There are sections in the game where you can get gems by getting the high score, like a Tony Hawk. You can get the high score within like a certain like within 30
Mm.
seconds, get 10,000 points. It's dude, I love it. I love it. I'm almost completed. I think I have like an hour left. So it's a short game. But yeah, Sword of the Sea. I'm very much enjoying my time with it.
Sounds like a pretty nice gem that you found there.
Yes, it is. I like it a lot.
Oh, very nice, very nice. I'm glad to hear that. My spread the arts. See, I've gone back in my little cave, Adam, and especially on the cooking shows. I don't think you're gonna like this because you have to
Nice.
deal with cooking as it is. But I decided to watch it as well, and it's just like, do you know, like a bygone era. So I started watching Hell's Kitchen, but not the Gordon
Oh,
Ramsay one. It's the UK ITV version, which was with Marco Pierre White in it, because I love Marco Pierre White.
so wait,
Um,
there's a British version, but Gordon Ramsay isn't in it.
I don't know if he was in the earlier seasons, but Marco
Yeah,
Pierre White is in the one that I was watching. I think he might have done the UK early version or Gordon Ramsay. I can't remember off the top of my head, but it's like
that's
really
wild.
rustic. Yeah.
Yeah,
And it's like really rustic and UK charming. The guy who hosts it is hilarious. He's got the driest sense of humor ever.
yeah.
Um, but it's the one I started watching from when Marco Pierre White's in it, and I was like watching it. It's like it just shows the difference between TV and especially your TV. If you don't watch British TV shows like I do, then compare it to the US ones because you guys over dramatize everything. You watch anything Gordon Ramsay based, like Hell's
Mhm.
Kitchen or like Kitchen Nightmares, and they just make it so
Look at
dramatical for no reason.
the original version of Ghosts and the American version of Ghosts. It's so different, and the American version sucks, dude. No, British
Yeah.
version all night. Yeah.
We've seen what you've done to the in-betweeners and other shows. Like we don't like really like what you guys do. You guys touch things and just destroy them. But yeah, this is like Marco Pierre White, and it's like really quite rustic and charming. And it's like that's what TV needs to be. It's like less production values, just keep it clean and simple. And he is just a fantastic chef in itself as well. Like, there's not many people who'd win 3 Michelin stars and then hand them back because he didn't want to cook for that reason. I'm pretty sure as well. I'm pretty sure off the top of my head as well. Marco Pierre White stopped like the Michelin instructors coming to his restaurants afterwards because he was like, I don't want the stars. So it was like they were trying to
Yes.
come back in and rate his restaurants. And he was like, no.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
he
Yeah.
he was the true celebrity chef for me. He was like he's still a chef at the end of the day, but he was the true celebrity chef. Like he always kept to his cooking, and it was like it never changed him for what it was. He was always just wanted to achieve the high echelon of his like cooking craft, and then when he did it, he realized it took the soul from it. So it's like
Mm.
he's like Ray Fiennes' character in The Menu. When he's like, look at the pretentious food nonsense, and it's like, no, 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 no.
Yeah. Every
We need to
chef,
make
when we watch the menu, we're like, yeah, 100%,
yeah.
100,000%.
And you see the vindication later in that film as well, when he's making a cheeseburger and he's making it the fries,
Yep.
and it's like, yeah, that's what a chef needs to do. So instead of making like some foo fart, like pea bread dish kind of thing, it's like just keep it simple and like that. You don't
Yeah.
need to. Oh mate, I've seen it sometimes as well. Some hilarious when you like look on YouTube videos as well. I saw someone try to make a White Russian, and they put all kinds. I think they put what's it? Oh, they put Patron in it as like as a twist on it, and it's like no, 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 no. The classics are a classic for a reason. You don't reinvent classics; they are
Mhm.
timeless for a reason. It's like a new
Yeah.
Coke kind of thing. It's like you just keep it simple. Like a White Russian is what it is. The dude from the Big Lebowski showed that he set that trend. It is what it is. You use milk if you want. Use cream mainly. Cream, Kahlua, vodka. That's it.
Mhm.
That's a White Russian. Don't put Patron in it. Don't put other kind of crap in it. It is what it is in the nutshell.
Yeah.
And that's what Malcolm Pierre White reminds me of. He's just like a very like, this is what the food is. And it's like, we keep it at that. But it's very funny that I was watching. I was like, yeah, I'm getting vibing off this and just watching it. Um, so my spread the arts is to go and watch anything Marco Pierre White because he's hilarious. But we'll wrap up here. So thank you so much for that. As I said, this is a Patreon episode for August. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Let us know anything you want to talk about, that we mentioned. Please do leave your comments and feelings. We'll pick out the 2 comments from side A and side B, 1 from each for the next episode, and we should be back on schedule now. So we will sign off here. If you want to sign up to Patreon, please do as well. Obviously, we have our Patreon subscribers as well. So obviously a big shout out to Kevin Lackner, Sundy, Clare McLoughlin, YellowFlash, Jake, Churchill, Carly, Gordberry, Kevin Kestis, Clarx, and MrAnselmi. So thank you so much for those, for supporting the Patreon. Obviously, as I said before, everything is getting reinvested back in the channel and to help us do other projects, among many other things. So yeah, you can sign up to Patreon. Obviously, we'll have a September post out, and then you can submit topics in there. And also to Clark's and also to Kevin, you can copy and paste your comments over, because we'll get to them if we don't have any other topics as well. So that's perfectly fine. But we'll wrap up here. Thank you for joining us. If you are new here, please do consider dropping subscribe on the channel, turn notifications, like the video, share your friends. It helps support the channel. We're almost at 2,100 subscribers. And StrangeCast and Lost Records Journal are both available on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts. We're available on all RSS feeds. So go and check us out there, rate us, download us, and get instant access to your episodes as soon as they become available. Either way, we'll wrap up here. I hope you all enjoyed the episode. Take care, guys, and we'll see you later. Bye.
Later.
Ready for the mosh pit, Shaka Bra.